Hey there and welcome. We spend so much time choosing our words so carefully, right? But what about all the things we say without ever speaking a single word? Today, we're going to dive into the silent and, honestly, sometimes treacherous world of gestures and see how a simple hand signal can get completely lost in translation across cultures. So, let's find out what your hands might be saying behind your back.
So, I've got a question for you. Right off the bat, when you gesture, do you have any idea what your hands are really saying to a global audience? The answer might be a lot more complicated, and frankly, a lot more dangerous than you think.
Okay, take this for example, the classic V sign. To a lot of us, it's peace, it's victory. Simple. But just flip your hand around so the palm faces inward, and if you're in the UK or Australia, well, you've just told someone to get lost, and not in a polite way. A tiny change, right? But a massive difference in meaning. It just goes to show you how fine that line can be.
And that brings us right into our first section. See, nonverbal cues, they're this huge, often totally invisible, layer of our communication. It's a silent language we all speak, but we are definitely not all speaking the same dialect.
And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, researchers estimate there are around 700,000 unique nonverbal cues or gestures in the world. 700,000. That is an absolutely enormous vocabulary, and most of us, we're navigating it completely blind.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, that culture clash doesn't just happen in words, it happens in your hands too. So whether you're a traveler, a professional on a Zoom call, or a content creator, being aware of this silent language isn't just a fun fact, it's absolutely essential. All right, let's jump into our next section and see how this plays out in the real world. We're going to take a quick tour of some of the most common gestures that can get you into some serious trouble. Think of this as your rapid-fire guide to navigating the riskiest signals out there. First up, the one and only thumbs up. It's like the universal symbol of approval, the social media like button come to life. We use it for good job, okay, everything's great, but is it really all that universal?
Not even close. While you think you're giving someone a pat on the back, in parts of the Middle East and West Africa, that exact same gesture is the equivalent of flipping the bird. Yeah, it's a deeply offensive and vulgar insult.
Okay, next on our little tour of trouble is another one that seems totally harmless. The OK sign. A simple circle with your thumb and index finger. It means perfect, right? Well, that entirely depends on where you are.
This gesture is a total minefield. In Brazil and Turkey, it's a super crude insult referencing a body part. Head over to France and tell someone they are worthless or zero. But then in Japan, it changes again to mean money. So that's one sign, four totally different meanings. Wild.
Let's keep this going. Picture this. You're at a concert, you're having the best time, and you throw up the rock-on horns. It's a symbol of fun, enthusiasm, a love for loud music. But this gesture has a much older and a much more insulting meaning.
Yeah, in places like Italy, Spain, and Brazil, this gesture is used to call a man a cuckold, basically suggesting his wife is cheating on him. Directing this at someone is a serious, serious personal insult. So maybe just save that one for the concert hall.
And get this, it's not just our hands. Even the most fundamental gesture we have can be completely backward. We nod our heads for yes and shake them for no. It's second nature. But in Bulgaria and parts of Greece, it's the exact opposite. A nod means no, and a shake means yes. Can you just imagine the confusion in a business meeting? It's a perfect illustration of how deep these wires can get crossed. So why does this happen, right? How can something so simple become so incredibly confusing? Let's move on and actually break down the reasons why these gestures go so wrong.
Well, it really boils down to a few key things. First, we just mistakenly assume our gestures are universal, that a thumbs up is always a good thing. But the truth is, these gestures have deep, layered historical roots. And even as global media spreads one meaning, these powerful, older, local interpretations just stick around. As outsiders, we simply miss that crucial context.
Okay, so now that we're all probably terrified of ever moving our hands again, what can we actually do about it? In our final section, let's put together a simple toolkit so you can communicate with way more confidence no matter where you are in the world.
It's really just 4 simple steps. First, research ahead. A 5-minute search can save you a world of embarrassment. Second, if you're ever in doubt, just stay neutral. A smile is pretty hard to misinterpret, right? Third, observe the locals. Watch what they do and follow their lead. And finally, if you do mess up, and hey, it happens, a quick, sincere apology is almost always enough to fix it. So the key takeaway here is pretty simple. Your hands are constantly sending signals, whether you mean them to or not. They are a powerful, silent part of every single conversation you have. The only question left is, are you ready to finally listen to what they're truly saying? Thanks so much for joining me.